Good morning, everyone. Hope you guys are fine. We are Group 3, and we're here to present our presentation for the project CON1003 Construction Methods, Materials, and Codes. Our group members are Adira Tampi, Mohammad Faiz, myself, Nimesh Gopakumar, Shahina, and Sagar Sudarshan Kumar. So, the building we have taken is CN Tower, which is the Canadian National Tower in downtown Toronto, Canada. So, moving on to the introduction part, the CN Tower is a concrete communications and observations tower, which is 553.3 meters in height and was built by the Canadian National Railway Company in downtown Toronto in Canada. And the tower was completed in 1976 on former railway roads. The CN Tower is a well-known tourist site which attracts millions of international visitors every year. And for nearly 32 years from the finishing of its construction in 1976, the CN Tower was the world's tallest freestanding structure for 32 years until it was surpassed by Burj Khalifa in 2007. And in 2009, the CN Tower lost its title of world's tallest tower when it was surpassed by Canton Tower. And but it still remains the tallest freestanding structure in the Western Hemisphere. So in the early 1970s, the most of the data communication took place through a point-to-point microwave link, and where the dish in this method, the dish were placed on roofs of large buildings. As skyscrapers began to be built in Toronto, the line of sight of data was disturbed. So the CN Tower is intended to rent hub space for microwave links for almost every building in Toronto. Next, the purpose of the CN Tower, as we mentioned earlier, it's a major tourist attraction in Toronto with gravity-defying glass floors, an edge walk, and gourmet cuisine in a revolving restaurant. The main purpose of CN Tower is telecommunication at present. It's both telecommunications and tourism, but it still plays a huge role in telecommunications operations in downtown Toronto area. The CN Tower has been and continues to be used as a communications tower for a number of different media companies, and it is also used by various television and radio broadcasters. So that's all for my part, and Mohammad Faiz will continue from now on. Thank you.
Thank you, Nimesh. Good morning, everyone. Myself, Mohammad Faiz, and I'm going to talk about the structural system of CN Tower, that is Canadian National Tower, which is located at the downtown Toronto. It was constructed on 1976 on the former railway land. The main structural component of the CN Tower is hexagonal concrete hollow pillar. The principal component, principal material, structural material used for the construction of CN Tower was cement concrete. And the structural system used for the CN Tower is tube structural system. This system is used to resist the lateral load such as wind load, seismic load, impact load, where the building is designed to act like a hollow cylinder cantilevered perpendicular to the ground. One of the advantages of the tube structural system is that it provides sufficient lateral stiffness. Building acts as a unified system to stiffen tubes, and it also provides aesthetically appealing view. And the interaction between the individual tubes and belt trusses at mechanical level allow the building to attain the extreme height. And talking about the layout and dimension of the CN Tower, there are many different. The CN Tower is made up of different structures, and the main structure is a steel and concrete hexagonal hollow pillar that houses all the 6 elevators, escalators, connection, and power delivery. Above this, there is a 102-meter height tall metal antenna, which is used for transformation of the television and radio signals. There are 3 visitor areas. The first one is the glass floor and outdoor observation terrace, which is at an elevation of 342 meters. And the second one is the indoor lookout level, commonly known as indoor observation level, which is at an elevation of 346 meter. And the last one is the higher skypod, commonly known as space deck, which is at an height of 446.5 meter. There are three large supporting legs give the tower the appearance of a large tripod. In this CN tower, at the top there is a restaurant called 360-degree restaurant, which rotates once every 72 minutes, and it is located at a 351 meter height. The CN tower has the tallest. The CN tower has the tallest metal staircase on the earth, which reaches the main deck after 1,776 steps, and also reaches the skypod after 2,579 steps. And that's all for my topic. And the next topic will be taken by Sagar. Thank you.
Thank you, Mohammed Faiz, for your explanation. And myself, Sagar Sudarshan Kumar. And this is my first topic, material used in the making of the Canadian National Tower, aka the CN Tower, located in Toronto. And the first thing, which is the predominant thing, is the concrete used in the structure. Actually, it constitutes the major portion of the structure is of the concrete. Like this legacy of high-rise building started from, I think, from the Empire State Building in New York, which is a magnificent structure. And this legacy flows through the Canada by the construction of the CN Tower. And this CN Tower is like, it is earthquake resistant and wind load resistant. And all these external loads creates lots of compression. And these compressions are all withheld by the help of the massive amount of concrete used. And the second thing is the steel, which consists of the post-tensioning steel, reinforcement steel, and structural steel. These different types of steel will uphold the tension in that structure. And the third thing is the glass. The technical aspect of the glass is to withstand the temperature effect on the building due to this extreme cold weather. And rather than that, to a perspective of aesthetics, it looks cool. And to the perspective of the viewers or the visitors visiting the CN Tower, it's like this gives a wide view of the Toronto city. And the last one is the objective, the antenna. The CN Tower is being constructed by the Canadian National Company, which is a railway company. And this antenna is being held upon the CN Tower, which is mainly used to upgrade or to update the telecommunication system of the Canadian railway system. And my next topic is the alternate materials that can be used rather than the present one. For the structural system, frame structure is being recommended by me, which is further efficient in withstanding high compression and tension rather than the tube structural system. And the another alternative material for the construction for the concrete is self-healing concrete, which is a futuristic thing, futuristic concrete, not available at that time. But if the CN Tower is being built now, I clearly suggest the self-healing concrete, which heals upon all these cracks and faults formed in the concrete. And the another one is the transparent aluminum, which is further efficient than the usual glass and much more stronger. And the use of hydroceramic instead of walls, which is not applicable on the external walls, but in between the inner walls, which allows the airflow and makes the rooms 3 times cooler than the usual ones. Actually, this increases the sustainability of the building, which enhances the green building concept to the construction, which is widely accepted. So thank you. Moving on, Adra will take the rest of the topic. Thank you.
Good morning to all. I'm Adra Tampi, and I'm here to explain the construction stages of CN Tower. First of all, the CN Tower was constructed by using cast-in-place concrete framing methods. In the construction, there are 4 major steps. First one is a site investigation and soil test. This figure shows the site used for the CN Tower. To analyze the strength of the soil before starting construction, a series of tests were conducted on the soil to analyze the strength, condition of bedrocks, and changes in hydrostatic pressure. And when the test results meet the requirement, they started the construction. The second stage is the excavation and foundation construction. For CN Tower, a Y-shaped concrete foundation of 6.7 meter depth is used. For the construction, about 62,000 tons of earth was removed, and the quantity of material used for construction is 9,200 cubic yard of concrete, 500 ton reinforcement, and 40 tons of tension cables. And when the excavation was finished, the surface was leveled and cast in situ concrete was poured into the excavation, and there leave it for setting. And for the completion of foundation construction, it took 4 months. Then the third stage of the construction was begin. That means the framing of structure. The CN Tower was constructed in the form of a hollow hexagonal pillar. The other features like stairs, escalator, all are attached to this pillar, and it was constructed by using slip form technique. Heavy mold of steel and wood was used for this construction, and the cast in situ concrete was used for this method. When the concrete in the slip form was set and attained sufficient strength, the slip form raised upward using hydraulic jack. The figure shows the orientation of the shaft of pillar and the building of shaft of tower. Then, in the similar manner, the slip form raised upward to complete the construction of entire pillar. The tapered shape of the pillar was achieved by reducing the size of the slip form when it moved upwards. And for the construction of this pillar, it took about 53 cubic yard of concrete, and total height of this pillar was about 335 meter. Then the another part of the tower is a main pod or sky pod. The sky pod, which consists of observation level, glass floor, horizontal and several technical offices. These parts was constructed using heavy steel and wood forms. The bracket of the main level is constructed using heavy steel and wood forms, and these brackets are bolted to the tension steel bars, and then post-tensioned concrete is poured into it. This bracket is also raised using hydraulic jack as shown in the figure. Then the observation level is constructed using glass, and it was bulged outward as shown in the figure. It helped to get a clear view for the viewers. Then the last stage is the finishing stage. The finishing stage is means the installation of the transmission parts like antenna, receptors, and so on. These parts were raised upward to the tower by using helicopters. So it made the job very easy and save a lot of time. These raised parts like antenna and antenna components was assembled by the workers simultaneously and completed the work. The figure shows the helicopter which used to raise the parts of antenna into the top of the tower. Then that's all about the construction. The CN Tower took 4 years to complete its construction, and when the construction was finished, it was the tallest building in Canada. Thank you. That's all for construction. Thank you so much.
Good morning, everyone. I am myself Shahina Mudrel. My topic is structural significance of CN Tower. The structure was designed to demonstrate the power of Canada's architectural and engineering industries. It serves the Toronto telecommunication hub, serving over 16 Canadian televisions and FM radio stations, and having more than 500 workers. And the world's first flight simulator ride experience is there at the CN Tower. and 75,000 square feet of attractions and shopping at the base of the tower, including a theater and gift shop. HVAC is worldwide highest full circle hands-free vac. This is one of the greater man-made wonder in the world, providing a cell site for wireless voice data transmission as and television broadcast. 360 restaurants at the CN Tower. Due to the increase of tourists, they developed 6 glass-fronted elevators, taking visitors to the top along one of the longest elevator hoistways on the planet. The CN Tower introduced North America's first and the world's highest glass floor panel elevator. A state-of-art high-definition 3D theater is the newest addition to the lineup of thrilling experience at the CN Tower. Usually, the people who are visiting at Toronto is always visit the CN Tower, I think. These are our references. That's all about our topic. Thank you.